It was shocking.
It was mind-numbing.
It was unacceptable.
It was hostile.
It was scary to see.
I was in a state of shock.
It was so scary. It was tragic. It was terrifying.
It was disgraceful.
My initial reaction to the riots at Capitol Hill were embarrassment.
It was atrocious.
Disappointment.
It was embarrassing.
It was catastrophic.
It was horrible what happened on January 6th at the Capitol.
It was an example of privilege and a misuse of power.
It was historical.
It was predictable.
First word that popped into my head when I started watching the insurrection earlier this year was crazy.
I was also very disappointed in the nation as a whole and the people who went there.
These are things you usually see on TV or in movies.
I felt the events were very disgraceful. I felt it was un-American.
You see people climbing walls like Spider-Man. You see people yelling and screaming. Not even yelling and screaming the same thing. Different chants here, different chants there.
What has our nation come to? That a president can't even get elected, fairly elected at that, without rioting?
My parents are immigrants to this country, and knowing how hard they've worked to give us, a good life, to then see, just America being portrayed as a joke.
I was shocked and embarrassed to see all these actions that were being caused.
The tensions were rising. We saw the warning signs on social media. No one really took it seriously because they think, oh, it's not going to happen. Nothing bad's going to happen.
I was texting friends and talking to my mom as it was happening, and it was just a common sense of disbelief that it was actually happening.
Watching people invade one of the most protected places in the entire United States had me speechless.
It was not a protest, but a riot.
Some parts of the media and the way that our former president's Twitter fingers just portrayed them, defended their actions, saying they're just angry civilians, angry supporters. Please.
I never thought that I would have to start having these conversations with my 8-year-old daughter, but in this day, in this age, you have to.
This is now a blatant example of racism, because you cannot tell me that if it was blacks, Latina, or any other group of race or gender, it would have been a massacre.
It was a domestic terrorist attack, and it was very eye-opening, and it showed the country for what it really was.
Are kids watching this and thinking that it's okay? Are we going to have to face these types of people in our communities and schools?
It's just a joke, honestly. Just disgusted with it.
It makes me fear that as much progress as we've made on racial relations and equality, it also gives me the realization that we have more work to do.
So what happens now?
I think this will really impact generations to come because we'll learn from this.
I do feel positive moving forward because I see the younger generation really stepping it up and really putting themselves out there, voicing their opinions, letting everyone know that they're not going to stand around for the injustice.
This is what we have to deal with every single day, ladies and gentlemen. And until we can start to understand that everyone is not on the same playing field, that everyone is not playing with the same deck, we're not going to make any moves.
This event, the insurrection at Capitol Hill, is going to shape generations to come forever. History textbooks, further presidential elections, everything. Something has to change, and it has to start now.
I hope that this allows everyone to open their eyes to see that we cannot be divided, but we must come together regardless of race or gender or anything, that we are stronger together, united as one.
People have awakened, and there's no more complacency, and changes are coming, and that I work with the best young people that this nation has to offer, and that those changes that are coming from these beautiful young people and young people just like them.
We need equality. We need liberty. We need these people to receive a punishment because people need to see that this is not tolerated. We need to become one and show support for one another so we can have change.
We have to start making that effort to understand
We must be the generation to denounce white supremacy.
So that's why I want to thank the Executive Council for Student Government this year. They've inspired me. They have pushed me to think beyond some of the things that I've been thinking about. They have been so energetic in their thoughts, in their actions, and everything that they do. Because they knew that in order for us as a community to come together and bring about hope and change and things of that nature, you had to have an opportunity to release and talk about these things.
As a senior, I think it is important to address things that are uncomfortable, because if we cannot be vulnerable and trust each other as we walk down the hallways, how are we truly going to be men and women of vision who want to empower others and make the world a better place?
I pray as the new leadership happens, and I pray that us as a community, we can come together and really be a force of change and have the equality we actually desire in this world.
Anyone that knows me, I've tried to have these conversations, and I will continue to try to have these conversations. Am I an expert on this? No way, shape, or form am I. But I want to learn, and I hope you do too.
So just remember always, Spellman strong, and speak up.